Welcome to episode 2 of the Slab podcast. Appreciate all the love and support on episode 1. You guys are awesome. That was awesome. Now, today we're talking more about the hobby in general and how we see it from our eyes, where the grades matter and there are no rules. So we're going to jump into this right off the top. We're going to talk about the most liked topic or question from the Getting Spicy With It that we did at the end of the channel of the episode last week. So Brandon Baker, I appreciate your comment. He said similar to the Mario and Luigi Pikachu, which Nintendo Pokemon crossover would you like to see most on a card? Oak, take us into it, man.
B. It has to be Smash Brothers for me. We're talking about Nintendo game-wise. Obviously, I would say probably a lot of people. I don't know if most or everyone have played Smash Brothers, but a lot of people have. And we have in there a lot of different games and players and characters and different things going on, different IPs or whatever you want to call it in there. And I think I like the idea of Pokemon collectors combining with, I don't know if it's like other games or other characters or other worlds, but that just excites me. The idea of like Pokemon people collecting Pokemon cards with Link and Zelda and like Yoshi and Kirby, like a Kirby Jigglypuff card like together, like joint, like Josh, that's crazy, right? Like the idea of those kind of things. We've got like Honedge, which is like a Pokemon of a sword, that with like Link from like Zelda with a sword using Honedge or something. I don't know. Like there's just so many possibilities there. And the idea of people discovering those other characters from that game that, I mean, likely you haven't interacted with it every single character or every single game from it. You know, there's Legend of Zelda there. You got Kirby, Yoshi, Mario, like talked about. There's even like, you know, I think I've said before, Metal Gear Solid, Minecraft now, you know, on the more recent downloadable version. There's a lot of downloadable content right now on Smash Brothers that's way up to date with Nintendo. Pokemon could get up to date with it. I mean, Nintendo's right there. They're like, you know, bros. So why not get Super Smash Bros in there? So I don't know. Do you think that's a good idea, Josh? Do you think that could be a fun one? I think that could be crazy.
I think it would be really awesome, but I think it's kind of a cop-out answer, not gonna lie. It covers way too much stuff, to be honest. There's I'm just gonna hone in a little bit more, just to like maybe one franchise, and I would like to see like a Diddy Kong or something like that, Donkey Kong Country, just like that. That group of characters would be pretty sick to see. Obviously that would be insane. Like how could you, if you did a Super Smash Brothers Melee or like that? There's just so many freaking characters that you could make probably now. I don't even know, like a 90 card set, just if you did every
full
single
set.
character.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be insane. But I think it'd be cool. I'd love to see like Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, all of those in some version. Like a Diddy Kong Diglett would be. It'd be chef's kiss, as you would say. It would just, it'd be awesome. But
you know I'd like with that is old Donkey Kong artwork with some newer stuff, like old version stuff in a card, interacting with maybe some of the old Pokemon sprite artwork or something, and then newer ones, like some different variations, like alt art type cards in it. That'd be really sweet.
No, it's that'd be cool. It'd give me like MetaZoo type vibes or something like that. But it'd be I think that'd be pretty sick. They can't lose money. It'd be chance.
We got Magic that's kind of pulling other, you know, game shows, movies, like there's different things going on there. Like there's obviously a need for it. Like people like that stuff, and it is interesting, the little crossover. trying to pull people together and keep things a little bit fresh. So yeah, obviously I don't think it'd be a main set or a special set. Even it would be a very like promo type set of some sort. But
yeah. Do you think Pokemon could ever do secret layers like Magic? Because they have the Stranger Things, the Walking Dead, Transformers, and Street Fighter, like all of this stuff. Do you think they could ever venture down that, or is it?
I just think they've tickled those ivories like so many times.
Yeah.
Like just like Mario and Luigi Pikachu's. Like it's right there. There has been a lot of Nintendo crossover, just like the question is, there has been a lot of Nintendo stuff there that's tickled in. So
Yeah, what about non-Nintendo? I've thought about this. I got an answer if you want me to go first to give you a chance to think, but
I mean, there's
non-Nintendo.
artists like they've definitely touched on that. They've touched on
Yeah.
event type things. Japan has promos based on specifically just on local good stores, local game stores, sorry, and the happy Pokemon, that kind of stuff. There is a lot. I would say probably more so on the promo side in Japan. But what were you thinking?
Grand Theft Auto Pika. It'll never happen. Just Pikachu running down with a grenade launcher or a rocket RPG would just be, that'd be all. Call of Duty Pikachu, like, that'd be pretty sick.
One for the adults. Yeah.
It would it'd be awesome. All the different, you can get a golden gun Pikachu, all these different camos on it.
There's going to be another one. I mean, there's got to be. They have done a lot of like cool promo and cool like special type cards and and boxes. I don't know what would be next. I don't know. It could be something that they're maybe Sonic. I mean, Sonic is even like a Nintendo one now, right? That's even part of the Nintendo.
It's gonna come out. He's gonna be a Pokemon soon. Watch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool thought. There's a lot that could be played with that.
Yeah, definitely. But Brandon, appreciate you with a comment. Appreciate all the upvotes.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time. This is getting spicy with it. Where now we ask you to post a comment, drama, question down below in the chat. The highest upvoted one will then be the first topic on the next episode. Oak, what is your topic that you're going to propose for the upvotes?
I think I'm going to say I think it's okay to flip product. I think it's okay to flip slabs. I think it's okay to crack slabs. I think it's okay to do things in the hobby that make money. What I don't think is okay is to build a hobby around that and to build your community and hobby around it. I think that's it's like two very separate things for me.
That's going to be a really effing long YouTube comment. Mine is going to be Collecticon will disappear in 2.5 years.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Okay.
So
2.5. So what does that bring us to? 2023, 24.
2025 June.
Summer 25. Okay.
Yeah, so those comments will be down below. You could upvote those ones or one of your fellow peers. Just go hit the upvote button on some cool comments, topics, and number one will be selected. So without further ado, let's jump into the actual podcast, shall we?
Let's do it. I'm ready. Let's talk.
So in the beginning, obviously, I mentioned we're going to talk a little bit about us, the hobby, what's it do. So why Pokemon? What are we doing here? So can you kind of explain a little bit for, like I said, this is going to be a little bit more about us so people can get to know us a little bit better. So why Pokemon, man? What's happening?
Yeah, so I think it's a good question, Josh. I know that both of us have been on a few live streams and podcasts, and we've talked with interacted with a few different YouTubers. But I would imagine that there's probably some of you at home listening, at work listening, in the car listening right now, wherever, that maybe haven't caught every single one of those and kind of know what our stories are. So I think that's a really strong one for us to lead the year out with before we dive into, you know, some of the actual content that we're going to talk about. So for me, I started collecting on the playground as a kid. I'm old, so I was a full-fledged kid by the time Pokemon came out, and I really enjoyed the base set cards that came out. It felt, I don't want to say, but it sounds too dramatic, but it just felt very fresh and new, like nothing I'd ever seen before, or experienced, or felt, or anything. And the fact that everybody else felt excited about it made me feel even more excited about it. It was like gasoline on the flames for me, the fact that everyone else was feeling the same way. So yeah, did some trading, sold some toys and whatever other things, did some purchases and sales and messed around on the playground a little bit, and ended up with you can't see it's not in this shot, but I got a little binder basically full of dark cards from Team Rocket. I basically bought almost a full set of the Team Rocket just by swapping and swapping and messing around, and didn't crack a whole lot of packs. I didn't have a whole lot of money as a little kid. Didn't have like family that were able to buy me a lot of packs, that kind of stuff. So it was like kind of getting what I could where I could, but like if I did have any cent free, like it all went towards like buying cards or doing trades, that kind of stuff. But the excitement of trying to chase cards that I liked and looking in it, admiring it, like cool pictures of monsters with like hollow foil behind them, like it's just crazy. It's just mind blowing. Absolutely, completely understand why the set was just wildfire across the world. Like I felt it within my soul and my heart. Like it was such a fun, amazing experience. The show, I would run home every single day from school. I lived literally one street away from my school. I'd run home.
Drove
before
home.
I ran home from school, and before my dad got home from work, just so I could watch Pokemon, because it was on at 3:30 every day. Like the episode was always repeating. Like I saw some 2 or 3 times, but yeah, in England we had like a slightly different schedule, so I'd watch it and I'd just sit there and just be amazed. It was so entertaining, the show. So I did that, and then I started saving up money to buy a Game Boy. I didn't have a Game Boy like some of my friends and some of my neighbors. They had a Game Boy. I saved up, and by that time I'd saved up, there was a Game Boy Color. So I got the Game Boy Color. I got Pokemon Yellow. I'd saved up, and that thing pretty much took over my life. I mean, I didn't even want to like eat or sleep or bathe or anything. Like I was absolutely obsessed. That thing was crazy. And I remember I was 10 years old. It was New Year's Eve at the end of, it probably would have been the end of 99, I would think. 98. I don't know what year it was. Around that time frame. And I was playing with my Game Boy, the yellow one, Pikachu themed, obviously, with Game Boy Yellow in it, the Pikachu game. And then my friend was there with me, and we were playing together. He had the same one, and we had the link cable thing, and we figured out the Mewtwo hack and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it was like very wholesome. A holistic approach to the hobby for me to Pokemon. So we had the cards, and we had the show, and we had the game, and we had like stickers and figurines, and I had magazines that I was getting from the corner store, and even candy. I remember I bought a packet of candy and a couple of like, I don't know, just everything like that I could get my hands on that was Pokemon.
Yeah,
it was just amazing to me. The whole IP as a kid, peak perfection for like how to entertain a 10-year-old. Pokemon. It was absolutely perfect at the time. I was maybe not 10, maybe 9 or 8. I don't know, whatever. I wasn't very old, but it was just fantastic. So from there, obviously went on to like Pokemon Crystal. In between that, some other cards. I didn't get too heavy into cards from then on, but just because like it wasn't present, it wasn't in front of me in
Yeah.
England. Like that stuff wasn't really there available. There wasn't a store in my town that was selling those cards. I didn't have the internet in the early 2000s for that kind of stuff. It was very much just like a case of, well, it's not there. Like it wasn't even in front of my mind. And then that kind of led up to a few years ago, me getting out my old binder and, um, you know, basically getting into like trying to figure out, can I sell some of this stuff to buy some of the other cards that I do want now that I'm older. I did that, and it's grown and grown and grown. And I mean, I'm well into 5 figures, now, from maybe a couple $100 worth of cards. So, yeah, just kind of growing and, within what I'm doing, was like part of just my love for Pokemon. So, very long answer there, but the why Pokemon was like many different reasons for me. It was a very, very big part of my life. Really enjoyed it as a child. But I'm curious for you, Josh, like why Pokemon. I'm sure there's some similarities there, but I want to know like your experience with it.
Yeah, so obviously first for me was the games, and it was like a vice for me. My parents fresh off a divorce, Pokemon then comes out. So I'm a young kid, and that's Pokemon is like the only thing I know. At both houses, doesn't matter whose house I'm at, I still have Pokemon there. It's like my friend, right? So I can play my blue version at any time. It'll make me happy. I go to bed, can play my blue version under with my little twirly cable with a light on it, and just I just get right back into it. Just feel young again, and just put me right back in that world of happiness, which is great. So Pokemon was there for me in some of the toughest times, and it's been always there for me. But I left its side obviously for a long time, just because of life. But yeah, so basically the games played a little bit, collected a little bit of the cards. Didn't have a whole lot actually growing up. I would get a pack here or there. Probably had a binder with maybe just picturing in my head because I don't have it was probably 15 hollows, 12 hollow cards, and the rest was like jank. Um, so didn't have a whole bunch of cards growing up, but I obviously played the games. Blue version, silver version, sapphire, and then leaf green, fire red were kind of one of the last ones I played. I actually just played fire red again, played through it in one of my recent weekends here a couple weeks ago. That was amazing. Um, Absolutely just love the games. They're phenomenal, unmatched by freaking anything. Can't wait until my kids can get into it. But um, basically got out of that, got into Yu-Gi-Oh. So it wasn't just Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh got me through my weird years, pretty much all through middle school, elementary school, and some of high school. That's when I actually started traveling, which was awesome. Getting to know that experience. It pretty much helped develop me as a person and character, and it's crazy to think about that type of like it never like as you're living it and experiencing you don't think about this thing forming your character and all of that, but it's really cool to look back on and be like, wow, like these past experiences just helped shape me, and all these different people I was able to meet, and that's kind of happening now today with collecticons and stuff. So glad I got back into the hobby in during right when COVID started, essentially 2020 in April. Um, got back into it, basically saw a collection to buy and flip. Didn't have a collection of my own at the time. Like you had some cards, I had zero, except for like one Charizard from a childhood that I just kept. But yeah, it was good to get back, and I'm excited and have luckily been able to get out to a bunch of these Collecticon events and meet a bunch of people and interact and interview a bunch of awesome people on my channel. And just Pokemon, I love it just for the sense of just the different people I get to meet and communicate with on a daily basis. Now it's awesome to have these people as my friends, yourself included, obviously, and just it's changed my life in the matter of 2 years for a crazy margin. Like It's awesome. Again, it's rearing its head and helping put me down a good path. So thanks, Pokemon.
It's pretty cool. I think a lot of people can probably relate, listening to this with such stuff that we've said there. But I got to say, probably my biggest regret about that, after thinking about what I said and what you just said, is I really wish I would have played more of the games and looked at more of the sets and been able to have a way to like carry on it through the years that I missed, because there was a decent chunk that I just wasn't like super present in those sets and the games and stuff. And even some of this, there's a few seasons of the series that I haven't even watched. Most of the movies I've watched, but there's a few of them where I didn't watch just because like Sarah Natachana came on and I was like, wow, he sounds weird. Like this is like odd, and watched a bit and then I was like, yeah, like, whatever, I've got other stuff going on. But I really wish I would have stuck in it, because there's so much like value in some of those years that we missed with some of the things with, the games and sets and shows and stuff. It's cool. But now we have the opportunity, expenses are a part of it, obviously, when you're trying to buy those cards and boxes, but just we can at least see it and interact with it and look at it online. So that ability now has opened up a lot of like appreciation for me, just the ease of access for those things. So
yeah, and I think another just very relatable thing for both of us, just so for both everybody out there that might not know, is we both work full-time jobs. The Pokemon hobby, selling, collecting is not by any means like our full-time positions. We're doing like 9 to 5 type jobs, have families of multiple kids, more than one. I just say that, more than one for both of us. And there's a lot going on, and we're still able to do this type of thing. And which, God bless our wives, they're awesome. They're rock stars for letting us do this type of thing. My wife will never see this, but maybe I'll show her one day. Maybe I'll show her. But yeah, I think it's awesome that we as full-time employees are able to interact this much, as much as I think we do in the hobby, and it's freaking awesome, man. It's I hope a lot of other dads out there and full-time employees are able to take the time and just interact as much as we are. It's awesome.
I am more than ever, by far. I mean, I'm way more, even though the passion, excitement, and everything was like top tier, like when I was a kid. It really was like the creme de la creme of like, this is a huge part of my life that I really enjoy, because it really is part of my hobby. Right now, if I get a minute free where I'm not doing chores or the kids or work, like I very much make that stuff the forefront. Like I don't do hobby stuff while I'm at work, and I don't do hobby stuff while I'm like, making my kids dinner, or we're going for a walk together, or playing at the park, that kind of stuff. It's like very much a separate thing for me. But when I'm doing it, balls to the wall. Like I am interacting. I'm going to Collecticon. I've been to Collecticons. I've got the Discord. I'm making YouTube channels. I'm opening packs. I'm like sending gifts to people. We're doing Secret Santas like together. I'm grading cards. I'm all over the place, like in every aspect of the hobby. I'm playing the games, even TCG Live. Got the Nintendo Switch. I'm about to start diving into a bit deeper into Scarlet and Violet. Those kind of games. Like I'm there. Like I'm right there when I have time. Definitely interacting. I think the biggest change for me this past year, which yesterday was 1 year since I made my first YouTube video. So that was pretty cool. Little pat on the back to myself to like sticking with it.
Oh, yeah.
But the biggest change has been encompassing people into the hobby. Because for me, before this past year or so, up until I started moderating for like and being a big part of PK's channel, when I was one of his very early subscribers, I don't know exactly how early, but very, very early. And before that, before he started talking and interacting with him and being on, watching his videos during COVID and stuff, Pokemon was always me. It was like a me hobby for me to collect and me to play the games and me to look at the cards and watch the show. Like I didn't have someone I did that with or talked with it about. So the past year of like really diving into conversations with people like you, Josh, that's like had a big impact on the hobby for me. It's a drastic difference. It's become a much bigger picture, a much wider world. That's been really exciting. Like that's been really
Yeah.
fun, and I'm sure a lot of people, that are listening feel the same. That's took a whole other level to what it is that we do and we're interested in, because you can like beat each other up about stuff or celebrate stuff or like show each other things that we haven't seen or sell each other stuff even like there's just like every angle, and to have that interaction with the hobby is that part is interacting with the community. There's a community within the hobby, so that's been really cool for me. And I know you've been very heavily involved with the community, and especially your subscribers and the kind of people that you chat with. I know everybody knows who you are and everybody adores you. So do you kind of feel the same about that? Do you feel like that's been a more rapid change the past year or so?
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing how I've been interacting was the discords. Before probably
Yeah.
2022, I didn't have a Discord. My Discord wasn't existent, and me and you had basically made a Discord at the same time, but I had almost abandoned mine at the same time. I made mine because I was like, I'll just go hang out in Oaks. He could do all the work. It was pretty. It was like perfect. I'll just jump in there. Sweet. But yeah, it's being able to just see all these different collectors. I was in zero Discords. I was in nobody's Discord. Never really used it. Outside of college, university. The class, my class would then create a Discord for all the people inside the class, but never for something like this and interacting and socializing. So being able to do that and see all these other people's comments and views just in text is pretty awesome. Let alone all the different YouTube streams, and just shout out to all those people that take the time and put many, many hours into the different stuff. Not just Pokemon, but it's awesome. Like Basic Trainer, shout out to you, man. Awesome. Glad you started YouTube recently. Tons of content. Just he's whatever, how many 3, 4 videos. He's got like 37 hours of content on his channel. Obviously, Pokenomics, Catch 'em All Collectibles, PK, Poke Knowledge, just all of the just to name a few of the people who had tons and tons of videos and got me through this. The interaction got me introduced to all these different people, and is just grown from there. And I love just like the interview style podcast I do on my channel is awesome. Just bringing on new collectors, old
Love it.
collectors. It's cool just to talk to people and talk hobby and see where they come from, because everybody's relatable. They got somebody they can relate to. And I hope to continue to be able to do that. My time right now is a little tighter, but it's gonna continue, hopefully here in the future. But man, it's Discord's huge. It's awesome. I definitely everybody go join it. It's linked down below in the description.
Yeah,
It's
just
huge.
the instant interaction of a message or a picture or a question or whatever, like even a call. I mean, you can call people on it. It's fantastic. I just made a new channel today. Well, I don't think I've told anyone that it's on there yet, but I put a new channel in there today for gaming live chat because it's about to drop in PS5. So I don't know if people are going to start adding their Discord onto their PlayStation. But
Okay.
like you can chat with people on Discord in there now. Like
Yeah.
whilst you're playing your game, you can even talk Pokemon whilst you're playing God of War. I
Yeah.
mean that's it's just there. It's going to be right at the forefront of everything. So Discord is huge, massive. I can completely understand why Microsoft is trying to bid for full ownership of it, and Sony and so many of the other companies are like trying to grab a hold and be a part of it. But is brilliant. So yeah, I'm thankful for it. I think the first Discord I was in was like a game that I used to play on my cell phone, and you kind of went in there to like figure out the teams or something for the game. And I didn't really understand it. I ended up deleting the game in the Discord. I couldn't figure it out. I'm way too boomer. And then I found that there was a lot of people in a Pokemon Discord that was like around Pokemon cards and the drops. Like it was like kind of like the Twitter drop thing, and they'd post all the different sets. People would be talking and posting in there, and that was like my first one getting like really into Discord, and then escalated from there. So yeah, it's cool. I really enjoy having ease of access to communicate with like so many cool people in there. It's like so easy just to drop a message and be in it and as a group. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and just to let everybody know, this Discord, for those of you that don't know what it is, think of Facebook groups, but more streamlined, more just general messaging. There's like a flow of chat, but there's Discords for all these different things, like Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups for people with Alzheimer's. There's Facebook groups for people that are into Pokemon or into being furries, who knows? But there's literally everything. So you could find a Discord, whether it's on Reddit or just Googling stuff, you could find a Discord that's for you. If it's not Pokemon, and you could just get in and start learning the hobby. That's usually how people start learning different hobbies. Like if you like, I want to start learning a little bit more about comic books. Previously, I would go into Facebook groups and start just absorbing material. But now it's me trying to find a good Discord, finding a guy's YouTube channel that I like, hoping he has a Discord and hopping in there and kind of just then absorbing the material that way. It's way easier for me to kind of take in the information through a Discord for whatever reason, over an old style Facebook group. But yeah, they're out there. Everything. The internet's vast.
Have you had much luck finding some of the Discords?
Yeah, I've had a couple of success. Primarily, like I said, go finding somebody's YouTube, and of course, I've struck out several times. But generally, the people like decent sized YouTube channels have Discords now. I say decent, being it could be anywhere from 1,000 to whatever, a bajillion. But yeah,
Rattle has a crazy one.
Rattle's Discord, yep.
Bananas is crazy. Yeah, Pogonomics with Dan, Jake, and Dan. That's a really fun one. There's a lot of people in there that are like really in the hobby. There's just generally like a lot of people that it's a part of their life. They're in Discord. Like, so if you are serious about this hobby or selling or collecting or whatever it is that you do, like, you got to get in the Discord. There's so many people that you can pull resources from and advice, and yeah, it's really valuable. It really is. I enjoy it a lot of different ways.
Hell of a community. Is there a way like maybe this year you want to interact a little bit differently with, or in addition to what you're doing now? Is there anything like that you can think of that you'd want to change up a little bit?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've really set a goal or have an idea of something like that. I think for the most part, my goal was to get a YouTube set up so that I could find people that want to interact with me and create a community together. And the goal was to find 100 people. I wanted to get 100 subscribers, and I thought if some of those people want to talk to me about Pokemon, I want to interact with me, maybe trade cards or whatever, like just be a part of something. Because I couldn't find something like that where there was a small group of people like that felt the same way as me, that were adults and like wanted to like collect real cards and talk about it and like, send silly messages and like fun and just whatever. I just couldn't find that, so I was like, screw it, I'll just make it. So I did it, and it's now set up. I hit that goal, and I'm like, this is what I want. So it's like hard for me to like think of like, oh, what's next, because I'm there. I'm right at what I wanted and what I want. I'm at peak happiness right now.
Not a whole lot of capacity for more, probably. with what we got going on.
That too, but like I don't even know what that would entail. I think what would change is if my priorities change. If it was a case of okay, now I need to change things up because I want to make money, or I want to do more of it, or I want a different type of people in the Discord. If I needed my priority to change a little bit, which it could very well, like let's get real, like I'm human, like we change,
Yeah.
but at the moment everything's exactly, it's more so like more amazing than I ever thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'm very happy. What about you? Is there something that you were thinking of maybe changing or doing
Yeah,
differently?
the only thing was maybe just the local scene. I'd love to get to more local
Mm.
card shows. Primarily, it's heavily sports right now. And just because when I go to some of these shows, there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids walking around. They are into sports, but God knows they like Pokemon. They're kind of maybe just into sports because their dad's just into sports. Who knows? But there's just a lot of sports, and there's shows every weekend in Metro Detroit, and I just would love to have that time to go to them, and it's not happening right now, and I want to make it happen a little bit, so that'd be
Sounds
cool.
sounds like a local Discord either.
Yeah, yeah. There's a Facebook group actually for the local card shows in Michigan, so it's a bunch of boomers, so they're not going to be on Discord for a long time, I'm sure, but um,
Well,
yeah.
you're pretty heavy into the Facebook stuff, so is that a local one that you're primarily a big part of, or is it just a general
It,
Pokemon one?
That one's just sports card shows, events happening in Metro Detroit. People
Okay.
post there when they're happening, where they're happening. So it's not even Pokemon. They'll mention if there's going to be Pokemon tables there, but it's literally just local Metro Detroit sports card shows, and people post their flyers of when they're having them. So literally every weekend somebody's having one within a 30-40 mile radius, some type of show, which is pretty crazy.
And so, are you thinking vending? Because I know
Yeah.
Java had good success, right, with that little one that he did, and he felt like he had like a little bit of a, I don't know if monopoly was the word he used, but he felt like he had a
Like a
good size,
stranglehold. Yeah.
yeah, like a good chunk of the kids there were like interested in it. Like kids are still crazy for Pokemon. Like you could set up shop at any street corner and there'd be a kid that will want to see what cards you've got. Like it's just that huge right now. So I feel really confident that you'd probably do well after seeing Java's video.
Yeah. I would want to take anything probably over maybe a few things just for eye candy. But yeah,
Yeah.
primarily just focusing on lower end stuff, bringing
Mhm.
a binder, stuff to flip through, a few sealed products. But yeah, it would be just fun. Fun, different way than Collecticon because Collecticon, I'm all over the place with what I take to sell. So but yeah.
Chris, Weedle's Warehouse, you will have seen him in Discord and a few little bits and bobs. He's kind of is in a few little things. He Collecticon has a really good setup where he has a little bit of everything. I mean, he's got all different things, like you're saying, like sealed and slabs and raw, and just like visually, it looks really appealing.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool, like setup and clean and sharp, and he's like a really good looking guy too. Like that helps. He's like very visually like a good looking guy. Like I
That's
could
my
see
problem. Yeah,
people.
I'm effed.
Yeah, same. Like that's why I'm a collector. There's no way I'm a this mug ain't selling anything, guys. Like, yeah, for sure. So I do think there's something to that, to like having some diversity and having just like a good setup. It just looks cool, rather than just um, you focusing on the product. Like there's a marketing aspect to it. Like
Oh yeah.
visually, I think
Yeah,
he
there's a
does well at
visual.
that.
You got to have like an attention getter for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Having your slabs laying on the tables or just covered with like saran wrap just ain't gonna cut it, guys. Like you gotta do a little bit more. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah, having said that though, I remember there was one guy at the Collecticon Orlando last year, and he was doing like I don't know if they were canvas or paper or posters or what, but he had a bunch of pictures and he had them like 15 feet in the air. Like there was so many, and it was a little overwhelming, and there was a lot
Yeah.
of people around it. Like it was like too much. It had gone too far. There was too many things to look at, and I couldn't like focus on like what he was even selling or trying to do. Like there was just so much stuff happening like on his walls. So yeah, just a balance there, I guess. But
Yeah.
the advantage you and I have got is we can do either or, you know, because we do want to buy too, we want to interact and stuff. Like if we wanted to sell, we could sell. If we wanted to like not sell, and you know, firsthand, you've done that a couple of times on both ends. So that's the good part for us. There's a little bit of flexibility, I guess.
Yeah. You don't make as much money going there to buy and flip stuff, but it's hella fun, that's for sure. Lots of
Yeah.
times getting to sit down and talk to people and really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Orlando. For some reason, I got my wires crossed with Baby Bray in the past few weeks, and I thought that CollectCon was next week in Orlando, and apparently it's in February. So yeah, so I was a
Get a
little
little time.
relieved. Yeah, I was a little relieved to know I've got a little bit more time to plan because I don't have like a sofa to stay on or anything. I don't have anything planned yet. I'm way behind. I know everyone has the rooms booked and tables booked and the rest of it. I've done nothing other than knowing I'm going to get in my car and drive 2 hours. So we'll figure that out. But
Well, if you're staying the night there, I got a couch for you. You can sleep on at least
all
in my
right,
hotel. My wife's not,
done.
so.
You guys heard it first. Done. Um. So what have I know we talked a little bit about you know, a little bit touched on buying and selling that kind of stuff that you know interacting almost, but have you been collecting much? I know you've had a couple of nice Zapdoses lately. I haven't heard you talk much about Kyogre purchases. You've had some Diglett. Like, what's been going on in terms of like the collecting side of stuff for you?
Yeah, so just I guess a little bit of history on me people that are out there that don't know what I'm doing or what I'm playing with. But basically, big Pokemon guy, big Yu-Gi-Oh guy, but been collecting Zapdos was my pretty much my species. I'd go after Diglett as well and Kyogre Amazing Rares. That's pretty much the only Kyogre, but um I don't know why the card's a banger. But yeah, Zapdos cards for me, I've always just kept my ear to the ground, whether it's PWCC, Heritage, eBay. I'm not constantly, but at least once every couple days, not even every day, I'll be searching Zapdos PSA 10 cards, kind of just getting a feel for what's out there, what's being sold. I own pretty much every WotC Zapdos in PSA 10. I think there's one unlimited one for Gym Challenge I need, but basically have all of those cards and looking at some of the other mid-era stuff, the black and white ones. I think there's one more Diamond and Pearl one I might need, but there's a bunch of Zapdos cards in between. Even some of the most recent ones I've been eyeballing, but I feel like they're still semi overvalued out of Chilling Rain or whatever. But yeah, kind of just waiting for stuff to go on auction. Most of the time, I'm not usually the guy to go snipe a buy it now unless somebody can take a pretty sick offer. But it's been a little while. I actually purchased my first signature card. I was hoping I'd be able to talk about signatures this time because what I said last week was that signatures are bags, and I had just purchased one, whatever, 2 months ago. Um, my first ever signature card, and it was a Mitsuhiro Arita Zapdos fossil card. He did that art for that one.
Yeah.
So it was Arita and it was Zapdos. I'm like, that's awesome. The only other one I'd maybe want is a Sugimori Zapdos for base set. That would be insane. And just for myself, personalized doesn't matter. I don't think Sugimori will probably ever do a signing in person. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think they're worth what they're selling for by any means. I wouldn't, but good props to you if you're the guy out there flying a family down there to go get these cards auctioned and signed and make your dime. Don't cut people in line and don't do anything shady, but if you're down there flipping, good for you. somebody, if you don't do it, somebody else will. That's the way it goes. But yeah, I definitely love auctions. PWCC, Heritage are where it's at for me. eBay too, but it seems not so much stuff I've been looking for lately is on eBay, but also grading cards, right? So obviously we're both very familiar with that. I've graded a bunch of cards. Most of the Zapdos cards I have are purchased. I haven't graded PSA 10 Zapdos cards, never really tried, just because it's not fun finding PSA 10 Zapdos or WotC cards ever, let alone just a certain species. But a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff I've been grading lately and purchasing, and that's been really fun, just kind of collecting some of that original anime art, some of the old Bandai stuff from 1998 for Yu-Gi-Oh has been awesome. Got a bunch of stuff through PWCC on that. But I love it. And also shout out to Pokey Chloe. She just started doing live streams on PWCC this past weekend. Just watched that back actually recently here. Didn't get to watch it live, but congrats to her and whatever partnership she got with them. But that's pretty awesome. It was a pipe dream for me. I don't have a quite enough clout yet. Maybe one millennial from here. We'll see maybe what happens. But very cool to see her get that done, and very, very good stream with her and Pokey Dean, and recommend everybody go check it out next weekend on Sunday. What about you, man? What are you doing?
Yeah, touch on the Pokey Chloe thing right there. I would have not expected them to use an English time zone person for that. I was very surprised.
2 a.m. for them.
I'm not surprised at the person. Like, she's cool. Like, people love her. I remember, I think I was subscribed to her before she even had 1,000, like before she was even monetized. I thought it was crazy the stuff she was opening up, and I was like fascinated. Like, how the hell is she like paying for this stuff? Because she just like came out of nowhere. It was super interesting to see it now, and like just the growth she's had and how well she's doing. And like you say, the idea of working with PWCC and like with some of these companies, auction houses and grading companies, that kind of stuff, like that's a really exciting thought to like think of. That's like a really cool thing to be a part of. So despite the time zone, it's a positive thing. It was funny, that I was thinking about maybe taking it over from you doing it, and then she's taking a hold of it. I'm sure they can have more than one person doing it, but it's cool that it's already there now. The options available, which is really exciting. For me personally, on the collecting side of stuff, I've got some real random stuff. I've been buying really random things, and like people have sent me some pretty random stuff, and it's just kind of like just buying things that I like when I see it now, and like things that kind of like making me chuckle or a little bit interesting. You might have seen a couple of cards on my PSA return videos this week, that were like Pikachu cards, but like weren't Pikachu cards, like just that kind of stuff, just weird things. And there were some cards I didn't even show because they were low grade, but the actual card of what it was, it like meant something to me. So, a couple of trainer names that like meant something to me and people in my life, and that matched up, that kind of stuff. Just real weird stuff. And I've got 4 or 5 different binders that I'm going on now. So I'm just kind of all over the place with the cards, and then just general Pokemon stuff. I mean, my shelves are just filled with weird Pokemon, just ramble, just absolute junk and weird stuff. Like everything from like $1 things to like $100 things, just kind of all over the place. I just think it's interesting. I think it's fun. I'm just fascinated by everything Pokemon just as a whole. So I've just been betting and bobbing. Nothing too crazy. No massive, crazy big purchases or deals. I did just have a big, PSA return that was over 100 cards. It was fun. Bunch of Pikachus in there. A lot of stuff filling in gaps and playing around with the set registry. And I was talking with the registry team there the other maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, telling them about my daughter being born and stuff. And we're going to set up another call. We're going to have another chat with them about the registry and some of the changes and updates they've made. So I'm excited for that. That'll be coming soon. But that's part of like the fun for me, the registry. Just kind of like figuring out what do I need and the completionism side of things, that kind of stuff with the slabs. But also, I collect Pikachus and obviously the Pikachu registry, but actually the actual registry has its own collection thing where you collect points for having a certain amount of cards graded and a certain like amount of each type of card. So do you have a baseball rookie card? Do you have a football rookie card? Do you have this?
Yeah.
Do you have that? And you get different points for it. And I mean, like the top, I don't know, 1 or 2,000 or something. I mean, like top that couple of thousand, just because like I'm one of the only couple of thousand people that have actually clicked on that stuff and done it. I'm definitely not in that high up, but it's just like gives a bit of interaction to what you're doing rather than just having a card sitting there next to you. It gives it a little bit of like, okay, well now it's in a list and it's part of something, a bigger picture that I'm trying to complete or a chase that I'm trying to do. And it helps you find cards in there that you haven't seen. So I've discovered some stuff in there this past year of cards that I didn't even know existed and stickers and box toppers and weird stuff there. So that's been interesting too, being able to see that stuff. I'm big fan of that. And PWCC has been a part of it. I know you just touched on it there, but they've been a big part of me helping discover some new cards that I don't even collect, not even things that I'm chasing, but things that I like and I'm interested in. I mean, I bought a Joe Exotic PSA 10 or whatever it was, like a 1-of-1 masterpiece Joe Exotic that it signed while he was in jail. Like, there's not a cat in hell's chance I would have ever seen that card ever. Like, I would have ever bought that if it wasn't for PWCC. Like, just browsing through there, messing around. Like, it's just fun stuff in the auction. So the hobby, just in general, like, I just think it's interesting. I bought a couple of football packs lately, and I've bought a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh packs and some stuff that I just saw at the store, and I didn't pull anything, but it was fun and it was interesting and it's cool to interact with. And I got a friend who's a pro baseball player, and I've got a bunch of his cards, and they've gone up a little bit in value. So now I'm considering grading some of those just to kind of preserve them in their quality, because some of them look pretty squeaky clean and stuff. And yeah, I'm just kind of all over the place. I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying talking with people about their collections too. Like yourself and other people, like in the Discord and stuff. It's just fun. Like, it's just fun to collect and be a part of right now. And some of the prices are a bit lower for a lot of stuff, so that makes it even better as well. Yeah. Have you noticed a big difference in some of the stuff you're buying in terms of price being lower?
Yeah, you're like on PWCC, you can catch some things going pretty cheap. Lately I've been buying a handful of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I feel like they've been damn decently priced. I was pretty upset about it. Hoping to catch some of those slipping, but yeah, like we just seen, I think it was ZNG Emporium had a few cards. There was one that sold for like $1.25 before the $4, $5 shipping. So there's a time upon us that's going to be very interesting, with especially if grading does get any cheaper. But at the 15, which is now $19 for PSA, there's going to be some cheap slabs out there. We could be getting to $5 bins here really quick. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting that there's some of the sports card guys that I've seen talking have been saying that they think we're approaching pretty close to like the low, the valley or the river of the valley, whatever, the lowest part of what could be the pricing. But I mean, for me, the lowest part is like people stop collecting and buying. Like, that is the lower. Like, the pricing part is like always going to be high compared to what the actual bad scenario is. Whether it's $1, like, it's always going to be better than nothing. But with Pokemon, I do think there's correlation between collectibles or sports cards and Pokemon cards, just because collectors collect other stuff and are in part of it, and they hear what this person says or they hear what that person says, or the market, the economy, work life, that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a correlation there, but we'll see. The prices likely will change somewhat, whether it's good or bad this year. But
do you think we'll ever have, like at Orlando Collecticon or any type of in-person event, will you ever be able to go up to a booth and flip through $1 to $2 graded slabs on their table
Um,
like sports cards do? There's because that exists.
this is going to be a hot take. I don't want to sound like an asshole with this, but I think Pokemon sellers and collectors are too proud to do that compared to sports people. I think they're a little stubborn and proud. I don't think a lot of people would list a slab for $5, no matter $2. I don't think a lot of people would generally like do that. I've seen like PSA 9 slabs of very cheap cards listed for $30.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a $30 card. It's not a $30 slab, sorry. Like, it just isn't. But that's the lowest listed. And, like, people are stubborn and, like, proud of, like, they spent this much on grade and this much on a card. Like, don't want to take a loss. Sports card people are much more willing to take hits because they've had good wins. They're much more likely to take losses. I think Pokemon people are, like, been pretty spoiled the past couple of years. We've had really good prices. It's been pretty much profit on everything. Like it feels like the past couple of years. So to now think of listing a slab that you just graded for 15 or $20, $5, $10, $2, whatever, like I think it's going to take a little while for people to adjust to that and like realize it isn't selling. It just isn't.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think the reason the sports people have an issue also is because like when you walk up to those $2 bins for sports and I'm flipping through those things, I'm telling you, I don't know maybe one of the players out of the 50. That is a problem. Pokemon doesn't have that problem, only having just now over 1,000. Before this new set, we didn't have 1,000 different Pokemon. So I could flip through an entire 200 slabs and identify with every single one of them. Be like, oh yeah, this Pokemon. Oh, this Pokemon. Oh, that's a cool art. Like that's cool art. Like it's just a lot more relatable to whatever's inside of it. Like it does something for me outside of John Smith, who played for the Cubbies back in 1987 and retired in 1993 and is a millionaire now. Like he did nothing. His batting average was .173 and he did nothing. So this Diglett, however, was with me my entire life. I don't know.
There's something to it. Yeah, the emotional connection for sure. The repetitiveness of Pokemon being reused for the past lot of years. There's been a lot of years that people have had interaction with Pikachu, with Charizard, with those kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many years a baseball player can play and be in sets and football and stuff. You know, Tom Brady isn't going to play for 25, 30, 35, 40 years and like still be in every set of cards each year. So, yeah. What I am really intrigued with on the sports side of stuff is the Fanatics play that's going to be coming in pretty soon. You know, we're a couple of years out from those knocking some cards out, sets, you know, whatever other kind of things they're going to integrate with it. You know, I'm sure they're going to try and do a little spin of their own version of stuff, but I think there could be a little resurgence of excitement and new twists and things being cool at that point. I don't know how long that will last, but I expect some of the current sports stuff to probably die off a little bit and maybe move into some of the excitement of the newer things. But yeah, we'll see. What do you think about that on the sports side?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what you were just talking about. I don't know if you want to elaborate what's happening. I don't even know.
Fanatics basically are taking over Tops. They got the licensing for making the cards for the sets. I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know the basics from shout out Dakota, Sports Cards Anonymous. I've been watching his channel since he was a noob like me, since he was very early on, is pretty cool. I think he's pretty well informed, and he's touched on it a few times this past year. But yeah, they're going to be making the cards basically, which
I think they need
I
to
don't know.
limit the number of freaking rookie cards they release because that's a problem. You got too
Yep.
many 1 of 25s, too many 1 of 11s, too many 1 of 5s. 100 or I think it was 1,000 something rookies for like Ja Morant, the hot basketball player from a year or two ago. Too many different rookie cards. Now, when you look back at like Michael Jordan, his Fleer, and now you got the new star cards that are technically came out earlier. So it's taking a little bit of market share out of the 86 Fleer card. It's a lot less quantity. There's tons of quantity, but a lot less variety, I should say. It's like you look at the Gretzky, it's either OPC rookie card or it's a Tops. It's one freaking card though. Like it's the same art on both cards. I definitely respect that way more. Kind of, it's just like Pokemon. Like obviously the Japanese one's probably technically the rookie card, but there's then an English release rookie card, and you know what that card is right away. Like you could look at it and be like, oh yeah, that was the original base set for XY. That's a rookie card of so and so Pokemon. So, I just like how clear that is, and me having to know field levels, Spectra, Chrome, Orange, red, white, and blue promo, like just way too much different garbage getting thrown into it. It pisses me off. Need to chill out.
Yeah, what I do like with Pokemon and how they use the same artwork sometimes on other cards. So they'll do you obviously got your regular, sometimes a reverse and sometimes a hollow, right? In the set, but they'll reuse the same artwork in a different card on a different set or a different language. Like the Pikachu, the Pikachu New Friends one that I just shown in my pre-series term. That's on also the English. That's a Japanese set, like a 4-card set, but it's also on the English Target promo pre-release card, and it's also in one of the Sun and Moon English sets. Like it's in like a few different places. It's like same artwork, excuse me, but it's on different cards and different sets and different languages and different years even. Like it's kind of all over the place. I kind of like that. Like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's like not in place at all with sports cards. Like it's a whole different field. They will use the same artwork in the same set and do 20 different variations. Like it feels like there's just so many different like colors and patterns. And you got purple Spectra, pink, this rainbow, like silver, like I don't know, Ponychu version, like whatever. Like it's all over the place, and that just seems like money grabbing to me. Like more so, obviously they using the same artwork is, but they're using it on different products and different things. Whereas this is like to collect this set, you've got to get these different versions of it. It's like too much of a good thing, too much of one thing. So that one's a weird one for me.
Yeah. What about selling cards? You obviously have some experience yourself. How's that going? Any?
Yeah, I've sent quite a few to PWCC last year, and the year before I sent quite a lot. I've done a lot. The last time I sent, leading up to Christmas, I got about 60-70%. I would say about 70% of what I should have got for the cards, which I was not happy about. So I think what I'm going to do now is get a bit more serious about selling and stop making it as much of like a little bit of extra play money to buy this or do that. Like I think I'm going to like actually try and sell and like make what I should be making and like be a bit more serious about it, and use that money to like do the things that I really want to do within the hobby. So I'm meeting with an accountant this week. Actually, I'm waiting for him to email me back, but yeah, I'm actually getting set up to start getting a bit more serious about it, honestly. Just because I do have a lot of cards, I got a lot of slabs, I got a lot of things that like I don't talk about, I don't interact with, just because I'm like it's a little bit different from the enjoyment of the hobby and the community for me. That's like my funding part, but yeah, getting a little bit more serious with it. And I know you've done a heck of a lot of selling and interacting and what would you say, like moving around things, buying and selling stuff in the hobby more than me. So I'm curious, what about you? What do you have planned for the year for selling? I know Collecticon obviously you're going to be a part of, but what else?
Yeah, real quick, a question. The PWCC, like when you sell something, what's it take? How long to get paid generally?
It took me from the moment I mailed it out to the moment I got paid, I think it was 9 weeks.
Damn.
Post office sent it out. Lose all control at that point. It's all in the hands of post office. When it gets to PWCC, it's in the hands of them. They then have to wait for them to list it, and then they have to sell it, and then they wait to get paid on those items, and then they wait to process the payment. I think it was almost 9 weeks from sending the items out to actually getting the funds in the account and paid out. Yeah, it was pretty long. I don't want to like scare people off and put people off, because like you can sell stuff and get paid and you just sit there and don't do anything. It's the easiest, most like, I don't know, chilled out version of selling there is. And that's why I've done it, because I've been so busy. That's why I've sent so much stuff. But the hit that I got on the last submission, the low prices that I got on some of the cards were like a little hard to stomach. Like some of them were like a lot lower than they should have been, and a lot lower than what's selling at eBay. And I was just imagining some people buying that stuff, literally putting it on eBay the next day, because that was possible. So I was like, yeah, I didn't sell enough on eBay last year. The year before I did a lot, but last year I didn't do anywhere near as much just because I was so busy with kids and stuff. So
yeah, and I've never sold on PWCC. I've bought a shit ton, but when you're like listing these, is there like a seller's display that shows you all of your listed cards, and you can kind of see a ticker on the price on all of them, or what are you watching?
Yes, and it's brilliant until it sells, and as soon as it sells, it's gone, and it's really difficult to find your sold stuff. Yeah, it's like in a different section, and you have to filter it for that week, but then it also adds in stuff that hasn't sold. So it's like it isn't easy. That's the one is a really good question, actually, Josh, because that's the one area where like I did have a real issue, like where there was a real problem, because I really wanted to just say, like, show me this week's stuff that I'm selling that's in the auction this week. And it really isn't as clear and as simple as that. Like the settings for it just isn't set up that way. I've done, I don't know, maybe half a dozen submissions to them now. I've sent quite a few stuff over the past couple of years to them, and the changes, the updates have been coming. There has been improvements, but there's still a lot of stuff on the seller side of stuff that needs to be improved for sure.
Yeah.
Time is obviously a big one. Like I was saying, taking 2 months to get paid out is an absolute joke. I mean, it's disgusting. It's terrible.
It's a long freaking time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to drop any names of all the different other eBay people that are doing consignments, because I know they're trying not to scale too fast. But man, it just seems eBay consignments, doesn't matter who you use, there's a bunch of them out there, but getting it in front of all the eyes might be the play. I have a large auction going here end of the month, 200-ish cards, so I can't wait to kind of I have a spreadsheet kind of breaking down the cost that I have the card at for like a buy it now. I'm going to estimate what I think it's going to get, and then kind of show what it's going to end up at. So really curious to see how it plays out. Probably going to get absolutely destroyed. Really looking forward to that. But yeah, I think it'll be a good learning curve, kind of see how that all plays out, because there's not enough eyes on PWCC right now for me.
Guaranteed. I think the exciting part for that I'm intrigued on is how close to your estimate it hits. I listed a couple of cards on eBay last week, and they sold. I mean, one sold in like 7 minutes, and I was paid out instantly because the guy had like the funds set up or whatever it was called, like the thing now where like when you make an offer or you do a buy it now, like it automatically hits payment. He did that, and it was like boom, like the funds are available, and I was like, wow, 7 minutes is a big difference. Like the stock difference from 2 months, to 7 minutes. So that was cool.
Definitely.
So yeah, eBay is definitely the way to go. Like I'm over messing around with it now. Like, yeah, you got to get serious. So if you guys do want to sell, like get with one of these consignment dudes. I think you could probably message me or Greeny on the list of people that do it. But for the most part, you've probably heard of a lot of them.
Yeah, definitely. It's but yeah, you had asked me a question that I kind of just derailed it completely, but I was curious, had a few questions about PWCC because I hadn't sold through them. But
Yeah.
for me selling it, like I said, not through PWCC. Primarily, it's through eBay, and some through Collecticons in person, and that is so infrequent. 1 or 2 shows selling a year. It's more just a lot of just experience getting down there, seeing the people, hanging out with them, making money. Of course, is fun. Being able to pay for the whole trip and on top of that, obviously. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be going. But primarily eBay. eBay is the hot spot. I list pretty much all of my higher end stuff that I want to sell to flip into other collectibles there. I did recently just consign 200 plus cards because I do not have time. I don't wish, but I guess if I was full time, obviously that would be something I would have to make time for. But I just right now value my time a little bit more than that, and I don't want to take the time to do all those listings and do an auction and keep up with the pricing. If I have it as buy it now, as I just don't. Basically, last year I had an issue where I had 200 listings and the pricing all went out of date in the matter of 2-3 months. Now I need to go through and re-update all the pricing and just completely F that. I don't have the time and the brain capacity to go want to do that right now. Obviously, I'm going to take a hit being auctioning these cards, but like I said, the big money stuff I really care about is buy it now, available on my store to sell, and take a little bit more care of those cards. So, but yeah, like I said, I've never done PWCC. I've always had an issue with their fee structuring, um, with the way it happens and how many cards they have in their freaking auctions, and stuff just gets buried in how many things are ending. When it was on eBay, that was a spectacle. When they were every second a card was ending, that was awesome. Absolutely loved it. You could snipe cards then, but still the prices we're seeing crazy. Even though things were getting sniped, the prices were astronomical highs, like unmatched. Like it wasn't really a thing. Who cares? But man, that's I miss it thoroughly being on eBay. I wish I would be back. Hopefully one of these consignment services can turn into a little PWCC for us. That'd be sick. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to selling in the future here. It'll be pretty sick.
I've bought PSA 10s of the same pretty special cards. I bought PSA 10 cards of on the new PWCC platform cheaper than what I sold the exact same card on the old PWCC platform when it was on eBay.
Yeah.
Literally, I've upgraded for cheaper than what I sold the 9 for on the old platform. So I think sales probably would be better if they were still on eBay. I think they probably would achieve the higher prices. I think people like we're talking about in the YouTube space and stuff will probably have a harder time getting market share of eBay, but them being out of there and not being fantastic obviously makes it a good spot for eBay consigners, because there's a need for good people doing it, and I can see why they're so busy. I can see why there's so much going on there.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%. All right, man. You ready to wrap it up? We got a last topic here.
So,
Last topic, just kind of talking about market influences. Like, what do you think? What caused the boom across different medias? Like, obviously in 2020, we saw a crazy boom with Pokemon, and slowly after that, video games kind of boomed. Do you foresee something happening? Kind of just talk about it a little bit, and then we'll just open it up.
I think money. I think money speaks evil. I think money speaks good. I think money speaks everything. Honestly, I think it was a really big part of it. Um, Even when you look at Logan Paul, like people weren't doing that because of money, but Logan Paul was. He couldn't have bought that stuff and done those things if he didn't have money. So it does all boil down to like people spending money. Is that simple on like what the boom is, and if people aren't buying, new products, if people aren't buying vintage, people aren't grading, people aren't spending money in the hobby, that's when prices start to die down. The more people are hyped up and seeing other people spend money, it's just like feeds off each other. It's just like that's the hype train off each other. Like, oh, this sold for this much. This bought people bought this. I bought that kind of stuff. And oh, I got to buy this because it's going up, and I need to buy it as an investment. There's just like a lot of feeding off each other. But also, I do also think that people have control of prices a lot more than what is the credit is given to them. So when we're talking about things like TCG Player or eBay and just general like buy it now listings and the lowest price listed, like it's such an arbitrary number. Like some of the cards auction, you can kind of understand it because it's just like what is someone willing to pay,
Yeah.
but what is someone willing to list on eBay or list on wherever as the lowest price? Like, how do you determine that? Well, it's from the auction, so or it's from the last sold. Which what does that mean? Like I've listed cards like based off the last sold, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm selling it too cheap or too expensive. Like I literally have no idea what this is worth. I've even listed cards that like I haven't been able to find sales for recently, or it's just like it's just so tricky. But it all boils down to money at the end of the day. So that's kind of for me what I think the boom side of stuff is. I think the secondary part of it, that's primary. I think secondary part is just how cool the product is, like what it actually is that you're talking about. Celebrations was incredibly hyped. I think everybody kind of felt a little bit of craziness with the celebration set in Pokemon, but with good reason. I mean, it was a fun set. It was a lot of fun products, and they did a lot of fun hype and things around it. Not so much about money. It was more so about like the set and the actual fun of it, and literally celebrating. Excuse me. So that's like a bit of an exception, more of a secondary thing. But yeah, what about you? What do you think? What do you think's the boom cause?
Yeah, so we had a whirlwind in 2020. It was, I think we were getting stimmy money then. You had the Logan Paul thing in November, and then kind of off the tail end of that was the Gary V sports card pumping. And I think that one, of course, Logan Paul had whatever 11 million plus views. Maybe it's more now on his original box break, which is great. But PokeRev does that now in a week. So how influential was that one video? Who knows? So I think the big thing was obviously a lot of people had money in their hands. Like you said, money is a big driver, and if you got a surplus of it, people are going to spend it, invest it, whatever they wanted to do. But um, unlike no other time in my 3 years, when Gary V was inside of Pokemon collecting, he has I think still a PSA 10 first edition base at Charizard. He kept at least few of his episodes or podcasts would say, "Oh, Charizard is the one to invest in. He can't sprain an ankle. He's going nowhere." He has the ear of actual people with money that love cardboard, and Logan doesn't have the ear of those people. So when he's pumping these up, I actually then had people in my ear like, hey man, I see you're in all these Pokemon groups. Like, what are the plays you're doing? Like, is this a good buy? Like sports card people that have no clue are actually messaging me on Facebook that I'm not friends with, and they're like, hey, what's going on? I see you're posting in all these groups. What's happening? Like, insane that the influence that gentleman has on anything, and it's freaking scary. Um, for that reason, I try not to touch anything he's kind of doing with a 10-foot pole. I fully respect that gentleman as what he did as ground. Not to be, I don't want to hate on Gary Vee here, but fully respect his entrepreneurship and what he's done, his climb, but just greed is a son of a bitch. It'll take you down faster than it brought you up. Just Logan's witnessing this now firsthand with all of his whatever he's got going on with the crypto crap. But yeah, just chill out with that stuff. People could shill this stuff. Like you had huge rappers just making a general video, Logic making a video, open a booster box and stuff like that. Like it's awesome to see. It's not gonna propel us to the freaking moon, like shilling stuff will on a podcast, telling people to invest in it when you have the ear of people with millions and millions of dollars that invest in the cardboard already. I think that was our big thing. It could happen again at any time. I feel like if Gary Vee wanted to again, he could shill it straight to the effing moon again. It would be interesting because a lot of people lost their balls buying PSA 9 base unlimited Charizards for $6,000 and $40,000 base unlimited booster boxes. But a lot of people come in a little bit more ready to juggle that and know what could happen. But yeah, I think there's a lot of media celebrity influence into it. It's got to be the right person doing it. I think the Logan thing and then the Gary Vee thing and then everybody having money just kind of played in together, and it was like a superstorm of shit going on. But yeah, I could see it happening again. It, like, for sure it will. Somebody who knows who that person will be. But some crap, I feel like calling it here now, somebody's gonna do some stupid shit again, and it's some stupid shit's gonna happen.
I agree. I said it over a year ago. Honestly, it was a while ago. I've said it for months and months after that too. But the need for the celebrating every 5 years, so we had the 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 25-year of Pokemon. It was just about, in a couple of weeks, it's not long until we have this year. It's going to be like the 27 year or whatever. The celebration of that, when it hits the 30, I've said it and a lot of people said no and I was crazy and I was dumb or whatever, but I really genuinely believe like the 30 was going to pop, just because they were going to put effort into it. They're going to bring in celebrities. They're going to spend money. They're going to put cool sets and products, and it's going to be new things happening. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting again. So yeah, hold on to your hats for 3 years time. I really think 26 is going to be a fun one for me. I think that's going to be a pop. And I'm expecting prices to climb a little bit. There's a couple of things I'm holding back that I think will probably do well during that period, during that year of celebration. I think prices will climb a little bit again, but I don't know if they'll ever be like crazy stupid again. I think it's going to be more of just a general incline.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Prices.
That'll be sick
for Pokemon. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. This next year is going to be a banger, dude.
I think so. I don't have anything else that I wanted to go over. I know we went through a couple of things that we wanted to touch on there. Did you have anything else that you wanted to go over, Josh?
No, sir, man. Let's wrap it up. Send us out. I'll let you take us out of here.
All right. Thank you. I've enjoyed that. Episode 2 over and out. So thank you for spending that time with me, Josh, talking. Went over some cool stuff. Really cool hearing about you and some of your thoughts there. I'm excited for next week. Maybe talking about some more new stuff for us to go over. It's going to be exciting. Each week is going to be different. So really excited for that. And thanks for everyone that has stayed in listening to this for this period. We're at an hour and 24 minutes right now. So you're the reason why we're doing this. You guys listening right now, you're exactly the reason why we're doing it, why we enjoy it. It's pretty cool. So I really appreciate you. I know Josh does too. We definitely get satisfaction from knowing that you're a part of this little community, and we're having fun with it. So yeah, I don't have anything else. I'll see you next Tuesday. See you guys.
Have a good one. Peace.
Thanks.